Hello, everybody. How are you this evening? Welcome to Ross on the Land. And this is my first live stream, and thank you very much for joining us. I see there's a bunch of people already in the chat, so thank you very much for showing up this evening. David from RCF Polar Express. Edred Joyce is here. Luke from Orange is My New Green is here. So nice to chat with everybody today. Please let me know in the comments if you can hear me okay and if my stream is okay. It's nice that everyone's talking together. So basically what I wanted to do is come on live and show off the DJI Action 2 camera. I've been using it for about 2 weeks now. I purchased it the day that it became available, and I just wanted to give you my first impressions and not necessarily a tech spec view of it, mainly just my impressions of it in relation to how it works for YouTubers doing stuff a bit more, I'll say, getting your hands dirty on taking care of 6 acres of property, attaching it to like a Kubota tractor and putting it in the dirt and stuff like that. It does say that it's waterproof, but there's some caveats to that. So I'll just kind of go over that kind of stuff with you. If this is your first time on my channel, it is called Ross on the Land, and I do take care of 6 acres of property. I have a small hobby farm, or we have a small hobby farm, and we take care of some chickens and pigs. Plus, I have a Kawasaki mule and a couple of other implements that we use, and a growing list of attachments for the Kubota as well. So welcome, Tractor Talk with Gary. So I'll just kind of give you an update on some of the stuff that I've got videos coming out for soon. I replaced the shop light on my shop. So it's the exterior light that shines down over the garage, or sorry, over the driveway. It has been burnt out since we moved in here. So I replaced it with a large parking lot called a shoebox light, and it puts out 19,000 lumens. So it's really bright. So that video is coming out soon. We also had to get our septic tanks pumped out, not the nicest video to talk about, but it's important for people who live, I guess, a homesteading or off the land type of situation. So I kind of go over how that was done. And ours was buried in like under the grass and dirt. So we don't want to have to keep digging that up. So what I did was I purchased risers that we attached to the existing septic system, and that has a green cap on it that we can access a lot easier than digging it up. And the last thing was I did my implement changes over on my Kubota. So I switched over my backhoe and front bucket to a front mounted snowblower and a rear box blade. So those videos are coming out shortly. John, welcome. Thank you very much for showing up. Thank you very much for everyone else. Mitch, thank you as well. I'm glad you guys could join. And my son Aiden's here as well, so thank you very much, Aiden. Some family support's necessary. So I'm going to get right into it then, because what I purchased was the DJI Action 2. And my kit, there's a couple of different kits available, but my kit came with the camera, which is this small little camera. It's got a screen on the back. It is waterproof, has 32 gigs of storage inside, no way to charge it, no way to get the footage off of it unless you have it connected to an additional base, which is this piece here. So mine, I picked the one that had the second screen. So this way you can have a screen facing forward and a screen facing backwards. This has an expanded storage right there. So you can put up to a 256 gig SD card in it. And you can also charge it and get your media off of both the action camera and the SD card here, or you can just take it out and put it in your computer. So this is about the size of a GoPro session. And when you attach it, there's really strong magnets that hold the two together. So if you put these together, oh, we don't have it upside down. There you go. So they clip in together and it's really sturdy. There's these little clips that hold it together and they're not coming apart. So I'm really impressed with that. So that's really good. There's one button at the top. That's to start it. As you can see, it's now live. And then you push it again to record. But some of the issues I've had is the bottom screen doesn't always come on. There's its own button. So sometimes you have to push it. And then you can kind of see there that the screen comes on. So you can have a front-facing camera and the rear-facing camera at the same time. If you want to interact with either of them, you have to swipe up on one of them to get it to work. But that's basically the size of it. It's recording now. You get the light on the front. You also get a light on the back. It does make a beep, and it also can vibrate, so that's kind of nice as well. So that there is about the size of the Osmo Action Original. So not much difference in size. So really, you can't really use it by itself. If you can stick it to the magnet, you can stick it to metal objects because it is magnetized, but you will run into issues with metal shavings, or if you drop it in the dirt, then your dirt has iron filings in the dirt. It'll stick to this and get all junky. So you just got to be careful of that. Let me bring you a bit closer and we can take a closer look. So here's everything that came with the kit. I'll just turn this off now. So you have the camera itself. The other base that you can buy for this is just an extended battery that doesn't have the screen on it. So this one has the battery and the screen, giving you a really good recording time. I think it's 30 minutes with the internal battery and 90 minutes with the external battery with the screen. It also comes with a magnetic base that you can clip onto the same way as the other one. So you can do it to the base, or you can also do it just to the camera itself. And that's really sturdy as well and has a ball and stuff, so that's really cool. You can also have the GoPro mounts on the bottom, so that can go on and hook up to all your existing stuff. And it also has a lanyard that goes around your neck and in your shirt. And then you can click on like that. So that's really slick. And the magnets are pretty strong. It's not going to fall off. I wouldn't suggest using this if you're going into like water or something like that, because really, if it's going through a shirt or a sweater, it's a bit finicky. So just be careful with that. I'm going to jump back into the comments there and see if anyone's got anything going on. So Mitch has a question. Mitch, I was going to wait a little bit longer, but here you go. I am returning this camera. It gets way too hot. And by hot, I mean I did some tests. I filmed with this camera at 4K, 60 frames a second. I had both screens on for the full time. And in the camera, there's a setting that tells you, or you can choose between threshold as high or normal for heat. I put it to high. I then recorded and left it running for as long as I could. The internal memory said I had 35 minutes worth of filming, and the temperature in the house and on the camera when I did it with a temperature was 20 degrees or 68 degrees Fahrenheit on different sections of the camera. So I took temperatures of the screen, I took temperatures of the back, the front, and the sides. After 22 minutes, the camera shut off. So I had both of these connected, sitting out in the open, and after 22 minutes on the high temp, the camera shut off, saying it was too hot to continue to record. In my findings, the lens got to 57 degrees or 134 degrees Fahrenheit. And the body, the round and the back, got to 51 degrees Celsius or 123 degrees Fahrenheit, which is almost 40 degrees warmer. I could not even touch the camera because it is a metal frame. It was too hot to touch. I then switched to the normal temperature in the settings for the heat threshold, and the camera shut off after 30 minutes. Sorry, after 15 minutes. So if you have this in a case or a cage to allow you to record, it's going to overheat. It's going to overheat really fast. There's some recordings online from other videos that say that after 2 to 3 minutes, it will overheat and shut down. So yeah, that is too hot. I'm just going to go through some of these comments. Edward Joyce has a question of how do you mount it? So I don't know if you saw that earlier, but it comes with ball connectors that you can just stick in and you can mount it that way. They're very secure. I'm very impressed with that. And the clips, so that works. And then the one is the classic GoPro mount where you can hook up to anything. So that works great. Good question. Thank you. So David, yes, it would be good for winter, except for the fact that the bottom section is not waterproof. So only the top camera is waterproof. If you wanted the bottom screen and ports to be waterproof, you'd have to put this all in a case that you can buy, but then it overheats in like 2 to 3 minutes. So the temperature in the house when I was doing this was 20 degrees Celsius. So that's the temperature that everything was when I was testing this. Ed shows up from My Cluttered Garage saying he's got the volume turned down, but he'll listen to it later. So I'll try to whisper. Thank you, Ed. So John from Ritterbit Will Do says, yikes, that's way too hot. How did this ever get into production? That is an absolutely great question. It's not even like, oh, maybe it's too hot. It gets so hot. And that they even have to put a menu item saying that you can either have a threshold for hot or normal. Right there tells you. The other thing is, if people are watching from the UK, this is geofenced because in the UK, you're not allowed to have that threshold. So it's only normal. You don't even have the ability to record for 22 minutes versus 15. So it's gimped even worse for them. So be careful when you're buying that. Thank you very much, Mitch. You're saying you're really good at live streaming stuff. I appreciate it. I used to be not so great at this kind of stuff, but I'm getting better now that I've been using YouTube for about a year now. So thank you very much. So the other thing I wanted to mention, I can take you back over to the closer camera here. No, I'll just keep you here. The other thing I wanted to mention was the camera is made out of metal. I guess that's to help dissipate the heat, but it is very smooth and there's no protection on this. So if anyone has watched any of my videos, you know that I like to drop stuff. I've actually dropped this already. There is no cage that you can buy for this yet, just like an external third-party cage yet. But if you drop this, I'm sure it's going to crack. There's no protection. It's very slippery. It's not rubberized like the Osmo. At least the Osmo has a rubberized texture to it. It makes it really grippy. So the other thing is you can put it in a cage, it's just really nice to be able to mount it and stuff. So that worked really well. Plus, I have no problem with leaving this thing running all day long and changing out the batteries, and it's fine. But with this being so slippery and the screen going all the way to the edge, I'll just turn it on so you can see. Who's that guy? So the screen is very nice. It's very bright and very responsive. And I don't know if you can see, but you can get to the menu systems quite easily and do all your changes. So that's really handy. So let's see some more comments. So David was asking, what's the cost? In Canada, shipped to my door, this was $650 roughly, right from DJI, not from a third-party Amazon order, right from DJI, $670 or something like that. So it is going back because I just can't use this for putting up as my secondary shots, leaving it running while I go do stuff, come back and have it overheating. Especially if I want to put it in a case in the wintertime to protect the bottom portion of it, that's not going to work. So plus, if you just put this on something metallic on the edge of like the Kubota tractor, it's going to get all scuffed and scratched. And those pogo pins are what connect it to the bottom section. So I wanted this for a small little, like a secondary shot camera where I can stick it to something inside the housing of the tractor or on an implement and have do stuff. But it would get all scratched. There's nothing to stop it. So when it joins with the pogo pins, you know, it's great, but then you still have the issue with this getting scratched up. But then you stick that on there. Well, you know, with the size, I'm no different than the Osmo. So really, what's the point? You know, it's better to get a second Osmo. And I know that John from Ritterbit Will Do had just purchased one of these 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago when we were discussing getting this when it was being shipped out. And John, I'm going with another Osmo because they're so much more cheaper. They still record the same. They'll last all day. And all the cages and stuff that I already have will work. So this is going back. So Luke from Orange Minded Green is asking if it came with a tripod. So what it came with was the bottom section that you can click on. This has a removable base that has your traditional tripod mount. So you can mount it to a tripod if you want, and this is stable. This bottom is a gooey suction. I haven't even taken the gooey suction off that, but that's to stick it to like a flat surface. Instead of a magnet, it's a gooey surface. So that you could use as well. So John was saying that, are you happy with the Osmo Action? I am extremely happy with the Osmo Action. And as anyone who's watched my videos knows, it's nice that you can actually replace the lens cover so if that gets broken. And it's just a lot beefier. It feels a lot more strong in your hands and works really well. So, and like for recording 4K and being able to zoom in stuff, it's great. While this looks nice, it's well built. I'm happy with the size of just the camera. For the purposes of me recording out on a tractor, digging holes, using the backhoe, you know, that kind of stuff, it's not built strongly enough to warrant me keeping this. So question, sorry to get here late. Is the additional piece a battery and a view screen? So very good question. My kit came with the dual screen. So you can turn on the front facing screen. I just turned it off, the whole thing off. So that's another thing that I find very difficult to understand is sometimes the screen will work because the back one's on, but the front one isn't. So sometimes it's kind of buggy as to whether or not the screen comes on. So there, it just came on. So mine is a front screen, an additional battery, a USB-C port, as well as an SD card slot. So you can buy these with just the extra battery. It allows you to record for 120 minutes, I think it is, or 90 minutes. Don't quote me on that, but it doesn't come with a screen. But when you can only record for 22 minutes before it overheats, really what's the extra battery needed for? You can't even record fully in the 32 gig onboard storage of this before the overheating situation. So that's a good question. David was asking about how much a DJI Osmo Action is. I think I picked this up a year ago for $299 or $289 Canadian. I'm not sure what that is in American dollars, but so that's a much better deal, for sure, a much better deal. So Edward Joyce, you asking about the Osmo. So is the Action 2, what's they said about this one is this little pinhole here is the microphone. And on the base, it has a couple of microphones, like 4 of them. So it's supposed to work together to be really good as a microphone. But I found that the wind still gets in the way. And I get some echoey stuff over the audio. So I'm not too happy with that. It does have a USB-C port. So I assume that you could use the same external mic system from the Action, but I have not tried that. So that is something that I could try. Yeah, John, I have to agree with you on that. I don't understand. In concept, this is fantastic. In reality, it's a great camera if you're just going on vacation, you want something small, throw it in your bag, do stuff, hang around the pool, stuff like that. But when you're working a camera, doing this kind of stuff that the Tractor YouTube community does, I would suggest not going with the Action 2. So the other thing is this has 32 gigs of onboard storage, and the SD card slot at the bottom on this one can take an additional, I think it's 256 or 512, I think 512 or in the bottom there. And then you could just take this out and stick it in your computer to download the files if you wanted to. Yeah, and there's John saying he recently paid $210 on eBay for the Osmo Action. That's US dollars, and yeah, that seems about right from what I've heard. So I'm just going to scroll up and see if I missed any questions. If there's any more questions, just stick them in the chat, and I will do my best to answer them. So earlier there was a question from RCAF Polar Express asking if it's cost more than a GoPro, and I bet you they're about the same prices. And I just prefer, when I was doing my research on cameras, I think the 10 had just come out, the GoPro 10, and it had overheating and crashing issues, a lot of software issues for that one. So I kind of went with the DJI Action, of the Osmo Action, and just loved it. So I wanted to kind of stay in the same family, but now this is going back. So I'm just going to get another Osmo Action for my secondary filming. So Scott, yes, I am still building out my studio here. So I haven't put up any Kubota stuff yet. If anyone has anyone would like to send me, please reach out and I can make that happen. And then Aiden was asking about footage. So I have filmed some stuff with it, and honestly, the footage is very stable. It does have the Rocksteady, so it does have the ability to keep a fair amount of the jitter out of the shot. But this one also has what's called the level horizon. But you can't use it in 4K. You'd have to switch it down to 2K. Then it doesn't matter which rotation this is in, the horizon will always stay the same. So that's fantastic if you're upside down and flipping around, the horizon will always stay the same. But you are sacrificing some HD quality because you have to use half of it to be able to keep the pixels enough that they can rotate it. So it's a bit of a trade-off. Most of the time I'm just uploading to 1080p on YouTube right now. So I could sacrifice down to 2.4K to allow for the horizon leveling. It's a neat feature, but really, I'm not really doing some of the crazy stuff that would require that, either drone footage or putting the camera in odd situations that I want to keep the horizon perfectly level. So it works, but it's for my needs right now, it's not something that's necessary. And that isn't available on the Osmo, actually. So you can't do horizon leveling. It does do a really good job at Rocksteady, which they both have, but not horizon level. Luke has a good question of, do I know how long DJI will continue to build the Osmo? I do not know that. My initial assumption was that this would take over and they would just discontinue this. I have no confirmation of this at all, but I'm sure that with the amount of issues that they've been having with this and people having problems with this camera, I'm sure they're going to keep this one around a bit longer. John was saying that I need a shelf with a drinking bird, and that's a reference to Ed from My Cluttered Garage, who has a shelf with a drinking bird on it, but I won't be doing that. But thank you. So while I've been sitting here and just talking with you, I don't know if I have it with me. I actually have a digital thermometer, and while it's been sitting here, it's already at 33 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's 91. So let's just do a test. I'm going to turn it on. Let's do this live. Now the screen won't even come on. So as you can see, it's kind of buggy. I won't lie. It's okay. So the screen is on. I'm using the other battery now, and let's just record. And I'll do a test right now on the lens. So 90 degrees Fahrenheit, 33 degrees, and we'll just let this record, and we'll give it like 2 minutes, and we'll see what it's at, or 5 minutes. We'll see what it's at. I'll leave it here, so we're not even taking it out of frame. So what is everyone else up to? I'm now fully into winter mode. We don't have any snow yet, but it's been raining. We're supposed to get some flurries, but it won't be staying. But all my equipment's changed over. All of our water lines are all blown out and ready to go, and we're just waiting for snow. I'm sure they would get lawsuits against them because this thing gets way too hot. Like literally way too hot. So it's been recording for a minute. Let's see. I don't know if anyone remembers what the temperature was. 23 degrees, 81 now. I'll just do it in Fahrenheit. 96. So Like it's already warm to the touch. Yeah. Luke was saying you could use it as a seat heater. Definitely you could. Yeah. So yes, the question is, I am in 4K 60 frames on this right now for the test. All right, and what are we at? 2 minutes. Let's check it again. So 100 degrees Fahrenheit already. 99. So that's 37. So and John's ready for snow as well. Can't wait for seeing some of your videos. And are you doing your neighbors' properties and the co-op, I guess it was, or the housing complex that you usually do? I'm looking forward to those. And the thermal shutoff is set to normal in this one. I don't think we'll be waiting around the 20 minutes for that to happen, but we'll see. And the back screen is off on this one, so it might take a lot longer, but I don't know if I can get the back screen to come on without stopping recording. The other thing that's nice is you can disconnect this while it's recording. So that's nice. When you're charging this, because the only way to charge this portion is to use the USB-C on the bottom portion. That transfers when this bottom portion of the battery gets charged, then it'll charge the top one. So you can't charge this alone. So you have to be careful of that as well. All right, what are we at? 3 minutes. Let's do it at 4 minutes and then we'll see. I'm almost can't hold this. So let's check it now. 25. So 108 degrees Fahrenheit. Let's see the side. 99. Yeah, 108 for the screen. 100. So yeah, it's toasty. You can toast bread on that right now. And Jake was asking what I did on my land today. We did a lot of chicken stuff today. So a lot of animals taken care of, changing the bedding over, that kind of stuff. I don't usually film that stuff to put it on the channel. I might throw one in once in a while, but that was mainly what today was. I'm about there. Yeah, I'm about there. I'm in a small room too, so the heat from this and the camera and the computer, it's getting pretty toasty in here. Five minutes. I am going to put the base on so I can hold that, just so I'm not fudging the numbers. All right, let's see. We're going to cut it off here. This is our last test, 102 degrees Fahrenheit, almost 40 degrees, 103. So that's it. I'm not going to play with this anymore. Extremely hot. My end result is it's not a buy. It's a great side project from DJI, but I wouldn't suggest any of us purchasing it to do any hard work on our properties. So if there's nothing more, I think I'm going to cut it off. I think that was a nice first video to show the DJI Action 2. I'm hoping that you guys got some good answers out of that and to help with the decisions of your purchases. Just see if there's any more comments. So thank you very much, everybody. I'd like to thank everyone for joining. We had some nice turnout today, 11 of us. So that's my first live stream. I hope everyone enjoyed it. And probably doing more of these in the wintertime because I don't want to be out in the freezing weather up here in Ontario, Canada. And thank you very much to my US viewers. And we'll see you in the next one. Thanks very much. What did you do on your land today?